copyright permission. Hi, everybody, and welcome to a talent drafting, Jericho celebrating, NXT championship belt cursing, meaty men meat slapping their meat each othering episode of the Brothers of Discussion. Yeah, there's some creative verbs in there, some creative notes, and that's what this show's all about. Matt, you've been here a few times. You know what we're going to do. We're going to talk a little wrestling. We're going to talk everything from this week's WWE Draft. Ooh, we need another one of those. We're going to talk that NXT Women's Division. Ooh, so good. And, of course, we're going to subjectively decide a winner in this week's Wednesday Night Wars. My God, it seems that the Wednesday night slaughtering is over. It's a real back and forth. This isn't the start of Rocky IV. This is like the middle of Rocky IV when it's an actual fight. Matt, we're gonna do that. Probably not much else because that's a pretty lengthy 8-course meal for you there. Hope you got the stomach for all of it. Matt, big news over here. I'm in the new house. It's almost decorated. Not that wall, but everything outside of the camera view is pretty decorated. How are things over in your place?
Well, let's see. I just told you my wife said that I am apparently the only person who is not thrown up today. So, it's just, everybody's getting sick.
I just don't get why you're singling me out, babe.
Well, my favorite one to happen today was Milo, who's our dog. He's a Havanese. This was about 4 a.m. this morning. I woke up to the like, so he sleeps on our bed. I hate it. Okay, like since day one, I've never approved of Milo being on my bed, but he also he rests his head on our pillows, so he's right between our two heads. So guess where the vomit goes when it happens? Exactly. So quite a wonderful day here at the other Clink household.
Man, you talk about a V economy, huh? I mean, just
well, he does. It is kind of cute. Sometimes he likes to cuddle. Like he'll actually make me the little spoon, which is kind of funny.
Oh.
But most of the time, he smells. Especially during COVID, like Havanese, they don't shed, so their hair, like picture, your own head and not like shampooing your hair every day or every other day. So he needs to get cleaned, but we've been staying away from sending him to a cleaners because it's one of those things. It's not a necessity. We don't need to get it done. So, we're not going to do it. So he just reeks right now. He smells so bad. Even when we give him a bath, the smell continues. So yeah, he needs a professional to take care of that. But everybody, we're professionals here, so we're going to tell you where to find the rest of the Brothers of Discussion. Mike, I have some blogs that can last more than a day, right?
Yeah.
Remember when I used to do blogs every day, and they were relevant for about 6 hours, and then the wrestling program would come and go? Yeah. No, not anymore. Matt has his blog about how to watch pro wrestling, removing brand loyalty from the equation. And yesterday I wrote how the Man of 1,004 Holds is really like the beginning of Chris Jericho, or it's helping tell the story of Chris Jericho becoming Chris Jericho. Like putting in perspective the idea of a man who's a cruiserweight champion, not a heavyweight champion, walking to the ring in the middle of the Monday Night Wars with a stack of papers and a microphone. And he also is coming off a match with Marty Jannetty, who's at that time well past his prime. So wrap all that together.
Yeah, he hadn't disappeared anybody at that point.
And they gave Jericho like 5 straight segments for all of this. So I just it's about the risk that was taken, and obviously the reward that came from it. And also a nice conversation about how Chris Jericho chose Chris Jericho. That part of it's probably a little bit shorter than it should have been. But I think we saw last night, and we'll get into it later, that Chris is definitely giving back to AEW. Just a star-studded show last night. And, man, it was I couldn't miss it. Last night I did the dual screens. the dual screens last night. The dual screens. I have met people that actually talk like that. So, and I'm, what do I consider myself a professional talker? And I just did it. But that can all be found at bodpodcast.com and brothersofdiscussion.com. We've redone the website, so you are going to see Red Wings Rant podcast pop up as well. You're just going to go ahead and click Pro Wrestling, and it'll take you to all the blogs, all the podcast episodes, the archives. It's all still there. We just couldn't help but make sure you are aware of Red Wings Rant podcast. If you are a Detroit Red Wings fan, you got to check it out. All right, so continuing to roll here, you find us on Twitter at BOD Podcast. Find us on Instagram with a joint account rolling for both Red Wings and pro wrestling, mostly pro wrestling, is at brothers_of_discussion. And we've got our YouTube channel. We greatly appreciate a subscription from yourself. It is just the Brothers of Discussion. And, the one thing that helps us out the most is going to wherever you're listening to podcasts and giving it that subscribe. But if you go to Apple Podcasts, subscribe, rate, and review, that does us the most favors. So we'd greatly appreciate some action there from you guys. Anytime you do it, it means the world to us. And the last thing, again, we've been using it to kick up the production of the show. As you can see, things have been changing over the last. We're coming up, Mike, on another anniversary coming up in November. So as we come up to that anniversary, and we just passed our 150th show, you do see we are trying to kick up the production. We hope the sound quality is there. I know last week, boy, oh boy, did the sound quality suck. So we're going to be continuing to kick things up. That was using this for the first time. We'll just to break the fourth wall.
We got it now.
But go to anchor.fm/brothers of discussion, and there you can find a way to subscribe in a more financial aspect for the Brothers of Discussion. Mike, I think based on a conversation we just had, we could be getting closer to making this a little more than quarter time a job and closer to part time. So with that, let's roll through the show.
Did I throw you off with my dancing? That was what my goal was.
No, Mike, I don't know if you remember, but I asked a question in the meeting we just came out of, and apparently the answer was posted. And yeah, I'm just Mike. Why don't you take? I'll let you know if anything's going wrong here. Yeah, it looks like a short dissertation came out. I'm not going to give any more details than that. It is very distracting for old Matt. But Mike, do you want to run through? Why don't you start letting us know what happened at NXT TakeOver 31?
It sounds like some pretty big news over there, Matt. It sounds like Matt got the leaked draft list over there.
Quiet over there. I'm trying to read.
No, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't just take a few minutes here to just talk about NXT TakeOver 31. Matt, I think it's caught you in NXT takeovers in age. Very soon we're gonna have a NXT takeover 32 as Matt yet again goes around. Where are you going around? The sun? Yeah, you're gonna go around the sun, Matt. Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly had a hell of a match. Easily a match of the year candidate. I think we talked about it a little bit last week where we were kind of excited because Balor, has kind of been given this cookie cutter move set to use every single match, no matter the situation. But going against Kyle, I don't know if he and Kyle just kind of had a talk before the match and they just said, you know what? If we're still standing after this match, we failed. And the match, literally had blood, sweat and pus just coming out of every orifice of these guys. Balor left with a broken jaw. That makes it two, NXT champions in a row where we've had to, maybe have to pivot away from them. Balor is, trying to stand strong and say he's going to, stick through it with a broken jaw and still be the champ. But, we really like when those guys kind of, pour out the effort. Randy Orton's thoughts be damned. As far as, he always wonders why these guys kill themselves for NXT. They're not going to be able to make that money on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. I think is more his position, but it definitely gives us memorable moments like this. It definitely kind of opens up, if people have been sleeping on the Undisputed Era outside of Adam Cole, that is definitely not a one-man team. And Kyle, he really got to do everything. He got to do that strong style. He got to bust out all the submission moves. And it was a real coming out party for people who haven't watched him on the indie scene. He definitely got some real exposure there. And Matt, I can drag it out more, but if you want to throw in your thoughts on Kyle and Finn, let me know.
No, I'm ready. It's all good news too. We'll talk about what was distracting me. So if anybody's concerned about your favorite brothers in discussion, everything's a-okay. All right. Yeah. So rolling forward, I see somebody's watching. Please throw us your questions. If I know we're not going at our usual time, so that kind of screws things up. That's one of the few things we're supposed to get right when we go live is always go consistently. Okay. Where are we, Kyle and Finn?
No, I think I pretty much stole all the thunder. Just if you had any other superlatives you wanted to throw out there.
Well, let's see. We danced around the hyperbole tree. It's definitely like you come off of it and you go, that's match of the year. Easy. Then you start to like roll back and you go, all right, AEW Dynamite did a parking lot brawl that was like one of the best fucking things you've ever seen. So we all scaled back a little, but it truly was brilliant. It was everything I think we wanted it to be. What's amazing is when the pressure gets put on those two guys and they can still knock it out of the park. I think that's a super underrated. What do we want? I don't know if you call that a skill or it's just their ability to take all of that pressure and manifest it into something fantastic. That's something that gets ignored a lot. Like we're both hockey fans. We just watched the best hockey team win the Stanley Cup. That almost never happens. The team that wins the President's Trophy I shouldn't say that they won the President's Trophy, but because they didn't. But we knew that the Tampa Bay Lightning were the best team in the NHL. They destroyed everybody last year. This year, if you take the 2 years and you look at point production, they're the best team over the last 2 years. That's all right. I just completely ruined our credibility in hockey because I called them President's Trophy champions. But anyway, it's very hard to do to go into a season knowing that you have all the pressure in the world to knock it out of the park. Now, obviously, this is more of a performance, so we're talking more along the lines of you have an amazing actor who's put in a huge role with like a Steven Spielberg movie, and then they go ahead and win an Academy Award. Some of that's politics, but also we see Leonardo DiCaprio get kind of put under that pressure once every couple of years, and he seems to keep killing it. So yeah, essentially what you're talking is also, and we're all familiar with it. This is a Leonardo DiCaprio level performance because they've got all the pressure in the world, and they're they killed it.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle, he was definitely a very serviceable, Gilbert Grape. And now he's, at the forefront of major Hollywood productions. I think that's a great way to put it. It's not like he didn't have the ability. They never really cast him in that role. And I'm so glad, I'm so happy for him that his first real, I think you'd be hard pressed to name a second Kyle O'Reilly singles match in NXT. I think they've just almost always had him in a tag team. So I'm really glad that it didn't just meet, I would say pretty, middling expectations, if any, because we didn't know what to expect out of Finn and Cal, but definitely exceeded them and definitely helped put Kyle on the map. And I think, as you kind of, Triple H will always say when people get hurt, people leave the company, things like that. It's the next man up, and I think if a few other dominoes fell, they'd be in great shape with Kyle as their champ. He definitely did himself an NXT service this weekend. But we can't just take all the time for Kyle. We got to move on.
Yeah. I'm
just
ready
had
to go now.
a couple quick cameos here. Discussion wise, just Ember Moon and Toni Storm are going to enter the fray for the NXT women's division. Toni Storm, she did a weird Wizard of Oz talking head up above the screen, which wasn't for me. But really, really excited to see Ember Moon back. That I don't know what her character's gonna really be going forward, but when she took that helmet off, that was a real thank God Almighty I'm back. Like that kind of just birthday smile. She looked ecstatic.
That's the smile that we see on people when they know they're coming to the ring to win a championship. Like she was so excited.
It's the face that you never see from Sasha because she's always booked to either lose the title or lose in the rematch. Go ahead.
Well, we do have Stephanie is here. Stephanie, you're here every week. I appreciate it. Stephanie cannot wait to see Roman Reigns fight his cousin. She's obviously talking about Hell in a Cell. Mike, I know that's not in the show notes. How do you feel about the I'm going to ask it like this. Mike, how do you feel about the Uso family continuing to battle each other through October? I'm selling my own excitement. I love it.
I love it.
This could go on forever.
Anything we can do to just keep really hammering home what an evil piece of shit Roman Reigns is, that he's going to destroy, one Uso and more than likely the other one in a steel cage with what Michael Cole calls toys. I'm all over that. It just sometimes we really criticize WWE, like with how they booked Roman Reigns for like the past 6 years before this current period. But now that they're doing it, right, they are 100% hitting their stride. I love this side of Roman. It's something that after the week of watching 3 hours of Monday Night Raw, 2 hours of AEW, 2 hours of NXT, maybe throw in a little NXT UK. I will still tune in Fox on Fridays. Get my Roman Reigns fix.
No, absolutely. Again, this has to go all the way to WrestleMania, right? So anything we could do to keep stretching it out is going to be perfect for us. I know they've had these plans where things start in like the fall. Talking about like Seth Rollins and Triple H, and they kind of hit like the pause button and then come back to it later. So it's definitely possible for them to go. Brothers Uso go down to Roman, and then The Rock shows up maybe around the Royal Rumble, which I don't know. We've seen it before. It would be kind of cool to see like Roman almost win some sort of Rumble match, and then The Rock comes like in Philadelphia, but he does the opposite. Something like that would be neat. Or if they just tease it, like Rock is there to help Roman, and then he just gives him kind of that look kind of thing. Like there's going to be a ton of different ways to do it. But as long as this, I think, goes into December, because you still got a couple of matches with Jimmy that you could throw in there. And correct me if I'm wrong. It is Jay, right? Like I went out on a huge limb there.
Yeah, it's definitely Jay.
So when he's fighting Jay,
it's Jay. It's
when he's fighting Jay at the Hell in a Cell. You know that there's a possibility that Jay could be coming in to interfere later. And that could result in a battle in November and December of Roman Reigns and Uso. So it's right.
Well, just before we jump off this point, because I know we're not trying to have a monster show, but what they could have done is what they usually do when they want to take a feud and extend it, past a week, past a month, do a second month, additional pay-per-views. They'll just do kind of a dirty finish and be like, oh, well, we didn't quite get a finish, so, we're going to see it the next one. For Roman Reigns to win decisively, but then allude to Jay that you want another match? Okay, but this time I'm going to kill you. Like, there aren't a lot of, I can probably count on one hand how many times we've extended a feud with the heels saying, I'll give you another shot, but this time I'm going to annihilate you. I'm going to behead you. There's no longer going to be twins. There's going to be one Uso. I think it's just a great dark twist, a great unique way to propel this story and actually get me excited for part 2, knowing that Jay has no chance at winning.
Yeah, and I will say, our good friend Venus Blue checked in.
Venus Blue, what's up?
She's angry at us. She's like, of course it's Jay. Damn it.
I don't have Michael Cole there to help me. He's the only guy who knows. Nobody else knows.
At Neon Ghost 41, who again, I could actually make the argument that her old handle, which was 1,000 Lady of 1,004 holds, was one of those gentle reminders all the time that Chris Jericho kind of inspired, where I could come back and remember that moment and then put in the blog article right away because it was always in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
All right. But thanks for throwing that out there. It is Jay, Mike. We don't have to. All right. No more.
I don't know. I think even Roman was like, listen, Jim.
Hey, Michael Cole's fucked it up too, like mid-match. So
I think that Roman should mark their arms like Michael Scott and his girlfriends from Benihana. I think that would be the best way to go about this. But this weekend, Matt, we got a big. They're doing it again. I feel like we have a draft every other month. WWE Draft. It's happening. 60 males. Woo! And females. Oh. And tag teams have been placed into the 2020 WWE Draft. And
it's so confusing this time, though.
More than 20 are eligible to be drafted on Friday night, and more than 30 are eligible to be drafted on Monday night. Friday and Monday, more than, but not an exact number, but 60 are out there. Okay. More
than 20, less than 100, somewhere in that.
Due to the length of each show, for every 2 picks that SmackDown selects, Raw will get 3. Ooh. Got to fill that, 9 to 10 hour that nobody but us is watching. Tag teams will count as 1 pick unless they don't.
I love that.
It's one of the official rules.
It's fantastic. It's a tag team unless it's not a tag team. Then we
unless they want to break you up. Yep. And then
why would you do if this was real? Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Like if this, I tweeted out like, all right, I can't respect this anymore. If you had the opportunity to draft 2 guys with 1 pick, or you went out on a limb and were like, you know what, I'm just going Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't need Cesaro.
Yeah, why would you do that?
I have no idea. Like the first pick should be Retribution because you've got like 30 guys right there. Boom. 30 guys on your roster. You can run a whole show with just Retribution.
Yeah, there's no salary cap. I mean, it doesn't matter if you have like 80 guys in your payroll on your first pick. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, so if SmackDown goes first, they should go Retribution, then New Day, and then Raw will go.
All right,
we're taking.
Like
oh man, fuck. Yeah. Okay. Go Retribution, then the Hurt.
Undisputed Era. That's like 4.
Right.
Give me the 4 horsewomen. Yeah, I'm thinking. You mean Sasha, Bailey, Becky, and Charlotte? No, I mean all 8 of them. I also want Shayna, Serena, Jessamine, and the other 4. Yeah, I'm taking all 7 horsewomen. Let's giddy up. There's one more rule, Matt. I don't want to forget this. Any undrafted superstar will immediately be released to AEW.
I love that too.
No, they will be declared free agents and able to sign with the brand of their choosing. Now,
right. So
according to the rules,
has been
Ring of Honor, AEW on the table. I don't know. It doesn't say they're not on the table. It says any brand.
I just love that, Impact was at, they're just scrolling through Twitter. Oh my God! Quick, get in here! Same thing happening in AEW. It's just Cody. Anybody that's not drafted on Friday or Monday is going to be declared a free agent.
He's got like a big landline phone just waiting for it to ring. The draft is always just, it's a cute way for them to kind of, spice up the feuds on Monday and Friday. I get it. It just feels like we get so many drafts. I don't know why it feels that way. The way that WWE, like, all right.
Now,
It's October. We gotta have a Hell in a Cell. All right, that's cool, Vince. We'll do the pay-per-view same month. All right, I get it. What if we do the draft every year at the same time? Oh, fuck that. We're not doing that. I want to do 2 or 3 drafts a year. Well, okay. Well, Matt, you sound like you had a more provocative point than this mishmash of draft dates.
Well, I did forget what that was going to be when I first went. But to your point, I'm pretty sure it was just one of those things where you can kind of see what's going on, like with AEW and WWE and NXT, like all these special event shows seem to be popping up every week. Every week there's a show you can't miss.
I know.
Just like next week, we've got AEW's anniversary show that was.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty pumped for that.
Last week, wasn't it? Wasn't the anniversary? Anyway.
Yeah, it was. The hell.
Right. So now WWE's just going, like, I feel like it was just one of those things where they saw the NHL draft was coming up. Boom.
We should do a draft.
We have 2 full shows written. It's going to write itself. We just random wrestling matches that mean nothing. We'll have guys drafted over to new brands, and then they'll fight each other. It's a whole thing. We'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that makes me laugh is like it's a lot like a middle school couple and their anniversaries. Like, wow, this is when we first held hands. This is when we first smoochy. Right. I think the only way the draft really gets a rooting interest for me is it's. Like last year, I think they were really trying to, we care about the women wrestlers now. Look at how high Becky Lynch got drafted. It's like, yeah, I know. Let's actually do the women's pay-per-view again. Well, there's a time and a place for everything. And so, it is such a hollow gesture. But if they really want to win me over, I think that's when you can really mix it up. Like see Walter get drafted to Friday nights. Like, whoa,
they've made it clear that those guys are not available.
I know. It's
Mike, let's run through the 100 names. All right.
What if Dexter Loomis gets drafted on Monday?
I mean, that'd be great. It does look like they're setting him up for more of an NXT run, and I think they're starting to take that a little bit more. What? AJ
Styles to NXT.
Absolutely. That was the idea I had earlier this week, and I threw it out there on our live wrestling discussion group. If you guys want to join, it is just that. It's a live wrestling discussion group that we say is hosted by bodpodcast.com. We'd love to have everybody there. We're almost hitting 600 followers. That is amazing because, you know what, everybody, that's just organically happening. We are doing 0 things to grow that, and people are just joining and throwing in their 2 cents, and I absolutely love it. So, Love everybody that's tuning into that. Actually, now that I mention that, I just realized I never did share this live recording with that group because I'm a moron. So let's while I'm talking, I'll run that through here. But oh shit, I did lose my point. All right, Mike, let's just move on because now I'm losing points because my brain is such a mess after this meeting we just had, and it kind of gave away that a meeting does exist by tweeting it out. Hope we don't get in trouble with our bosses. But
no, before we, because I think we've kind of exhausted what's going to happen with the draft. There's only if I mentioned the NXT people getting called up, main roster people, getting drafted to NXT. I didn't know if you had any last points on that, but I was just going to say, we mentioned at the top of the draft segment, Retribution. And when we said that, I was still only thinking of T-Bar, Slapjack, Mace, Reckoning, and Retaliation. And I had totally forgotten the breaking news that Mustafa Ali is now the leader of the group.
Yeah, if you get Retribution, you're fucking killing it. Draft him. Okay, I know that's not why you brought it up.
No, I just it's there. I don't know if there's a whole lot to add. This is the second time in this episode we're gonna kind of pat the WWE production team and writers on the back because that was a big swerve when they, we found out it was going to be some NXT people who are kind of floundering on the outside who are Retribution. We were like, we'll kind of get on board with that. because there's a long-standing belief that it was going to be Ali because of the little blue lights on his gloves, and some imagery on the being the hacker, that kind of thing. And now it looks like, now that everybody kind of forgot about him, Ali is joining the group. Man,
leading the group.
My apologies. Of the members of that group, who's going to come out most popular?
Ooh, that's a great question because it's
After Slapjack, of course.
It's something too when you think about like when the Shield first started. It wasn't beloved from the get-go, but slowly, people started bringing up those questions like, is this going to end up being like one of the best factions of all time? And we look back at the Shield. I think if somebody made that argument to me right now, I'm not going to sit there and laugh in their face. That's pretty good argument to make. Now with Retribution, the start here is a little bit more rough than the Shield, I would say. I think they've hit some bumps in the road. They've missed a couple of easy to catch things, like let's not be so tone deaf. Like when there's making someone out to be evil just because they're breaking glass, kind of thing. Things that were actually going on in the United States while they were introducing Retribution that were being mirrored. So that's kind of rough. But
little things too. Like when they had Maya Yim come out and do her promo, and her mask kept falling off, so she had to keep putting it back on.
Right.
But yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Yeah.
So who's going to come out of this? I don't know if it's going to be Mia Yim, and I know the easy answer is probably Ali, because this is something where I think he's going to thrive. If you've seen his Instagram or his Twitter, and we talked about, God, I'm going to bring up a comparison here, and I hope to God people see why I'm bringing it up, and they don't just immediately make the connection because of the color of their skin. But Mike, one of the things we loved so much about Jinder Mahal becoming the champion when he was WWE champion for a very short period was when he first started doing promos, he was so fucking real. He was real with all of it. And we loved it so much. It was just something where he was calling out the WWE audience. He was calling out the WWE. It was something to both of us. It brought to our attention ideas that we had just kind of thrown at the wayside and said, that's just pro wrestling. Now, moving forward, Jinder Mahal's whole character changed, and he got away from those stories. And then the whole championship reign kind of, fell flat after that. Yeah. But what you see the stuff Ali doing on Instagram, on Twitter, and now, leading this group, I can only imagine it's going to be more of the same. He does a fantastic job of calling people out on social media when, they're just flat out being racist. And this is something that I think can definitely come into play with Retribution, because what are they saying? They're saying they're angry with WWE. So there's got to be something going on that they need to fix. And if we're following along with what Mustafa Ali holds, and he should hold so near and dear to his heart when it comes to the things he says and preaches on social media, holy fuck, could this be so goddamn juicy and make a wholesale change, right, for the WWE. Like, it could be something where they could be as real of a ask for change, like Daniel Bryan when he was evil Daniel Bryan, Bryan a year ago, and he had his hemp belt. And then you were kind of saying, like, is he really evil because he's asking us to take care of the planet? But I think that this is the type of thing where Ali's going to come in strong, and he's going to know his message, and he's going to live. There's potential that if it is that message, he lives that message, that this could be so powerful. And, hopefully they don't turn it into like a heel thing. But all that being said, it's so funny. I still haven't answered your question. But I want the answer to be Dijakovic, to be completely honest. Because I gave all the reasons why the easy answer is Ali to come out of this. And Jesus, I think I just went on for like 8 minutes.
No, you're you're fine. I would just say I love the way you brought up the Shield. Because one thing I hadn't really thought about in a while was the way the popularity of those three guys. It was always kind of like this. You know, you didn't know really who you even liked, you know, the most. Sometimes it was Roman, you know, if he was going to be the guy who you know, broke up some awful, Kane and Big Show Royal Rumble moments. You know, that he's going to try and save us from some terrible booking. Whether or not it was going to be, you know, Seth Rollins, taking a title away from Brock Lesnar. You know, and then I keep going to Royal Rumble moments because it was our favorite thing. But Dean Ambrose, you know, maybe, you know, getting one over on Triple H, who had just upended Roman Reigns. Just little stuff like that, where all three of those guys kind of had fluctuating popularity there. And I got to say, so far with the booking, you know, we haven't really heard as much from, you know, May, Slapjack, Reckoning, and Retaliation. They're just so new, but right now they're really allowing T-Bar, Dijak, and Ali to, you know, both be kind of woke. T-Bar's, you know, kind of given that permission to be woke and funny, and Ali is, you know, been woke and profound. So I could definitely see a spot where both those guys can succeed, but I'm kind of excited to see how this fluctuates, and kind of excited to see how, you know, as we kind of develop a character for Ali, as we develop T-Bar's character, once we have those known entities, that's when we can start to know more of the supporting cast and learn about Mace and, you know, the inner workings of Slapjack, which I don't think that is a first for the word Slapjack to be prefaced by inner workings. So that's kind of the draft. That's Retribution. I'm glad we didn't forget about Ali there, Matt. And
hot tag, Mike. Hot tag.
Oh, hot tag. We always bring a Rottweiler in for our hot takes, but go ahead.
Who is going? Who would you take first in this draft? Like kayfabe. Like, let's not pretend that you're going to get 12 guys if you pick Retribution. Kayfabe, who are you taking first?
I think you're going to be just because I'm trying not to, you know, I pick Seth Rollins. You know, I don't want to do that. I don't think it should be like a Kevin Owens or an Alistair or even, you know, Becky or Bailey. If they really, if they really want to do this right, you want a top prospect who's been winning. If you want a top prospect who's been winning, and I'm not going to put Bray Wyatt in there because we're doing kayfabe.
Oh, okay? Fuck. No, don't. Yep. No.
I'm not going to do Arturo Ruas. I'm sorry. I do like him on my underground, but no, Matt. I'm going to pick Bob Lashley.
Oh, no, that's a great pick. That is a great pick because you need to make a statement with the first pick, and I absolutely love that. Now, you should pick the Hurt Business, and you could have made the argument about Bobby. So you just broke up the Hurt Business, the best faction in WWE right now. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say Dabba-Kato. You pick him first. You are telling the WWE audience that he is important. And again, I said we're playing kayfabe here. So you pick Dabo. Is it Dabo or Daba? How do I
still call him Babatunde, so I don't know. It's Dabba-Kato, I think.
I would say if you do that, you're selling right away that this guy's for real. So you go in that direction, you're helping push those storylines, and champions are going to fall wherever. You've got Roman, Drew, and Bailey and Asuka, but you pick him. You've just told the entire WWE universe this is the most important guy that we have, and I think you have an opportunity to do that. I think if he ends up being like a fifth pick, you've pretty much just said he's kind of a guy you want to pay attention to. But if you make him the number one pick, you're actually doing something with this stupid draft because you said it first, Mike. Why do they do these? They just seem like they pop up out of nowhere. I say they're just filling out programming. Give it a purpose. Give it a reason. First pick. Boom.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
he'll be the first pick on Monday, apparently, because he doesn't count for the Friday list, whatever the fuck that means.
the Friday list. Yeah, I mean, there's some people who could really need use a boost. I mean, like Braun Strowman has totally fallen off the face of the earth. I mean, I know he's on TV, but like as far as being a monster, that's pretty much done. Sheamus, Matt Riddle, I don't know. Kevin Owens is just kind of floating around. I don't know. His feud is with Aleister Black, which, it's tough to come up from. I love Aleister, but he's just done. Matt, if we're gonna one more hot tag, who's the real first pick gonna be on Friday?
Oh man,
Drew McIntyre is part of the Friday list, just so you know.
Oh, that's right. I was looking at Monday again. God damn it. First pick will be Asuka.
Damn it. That was my pick. All right. Asuka's going to be the consensus number one.
All right. Cool.
All right. Let's move on. So that's the draft. We'll have some coverage for you this weekend. And also, I want to see where Sami Zayn gets picked. If he's a fucking free agent, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. All right. Man, let's get into the Wednesday Night Wars. Oh.
Real quick, shout out to Neon Ghost 41, also Venus Blue again. She's hoping that Ali, and I missed this because Twitter they don't keep as well a track of it on our thing we're distributing this on, the Twitter comments. But she says, I hope Ali goes on a Daniel Bryan-esque run because that was amazing. Bryan got people to boo books and boo recycling. Just top notch. There's a reason why I think Neon Ghost 41 has the most replies from BOD podcast because it takes like that. Like those are the things to remember, folks. Daniel Bryan just did great work, and I think, and again, I know we moved on, but Ali does have that potential there to do that. So, Mike, Wednesday Night Wars.
Let's do it. So every week, I think it's our favorite part of the show. Hopefully everybody else likes it. But what we like to do is count down top 3 moments of each show. And also we throw in a dubious, a ne'er-do-well, one of the embarrassing moments of the week. And Matt, looking at the 2 shows, another tough one at the gate here. I honestly could pick NXT being the better show just because of my Ember Moon bias.
I think there were a lot of great things on paper for NXT, but I think AEW did more of the execution. Or maybe, you know what? Maybe I have that backwards. I don't know, because we did walk into Jericho's 30th anniversary, right? Like, that should have been cake. That should have been a no-brainer, top, bottom, whatever's going on, you're going to fucking nail it. And then, and then you're looking at a guy named Luther in the main event of AEW. And God bless him, we know why he's there. He's a part of Jericho's history, but, as I just said, on paper it looks great, and then the execution. So this is what I'm saying about NXT. Maybe it's for both. But I don't know. So as I said, I was watching both. There was also a vice presidential debate that happened. So they both lost at 9:00.
Rather handily, yeah.
If we're talking about ratings, well, I'm going to say they lost in the Clink household. That's the long and short of it. I knew where to.
I will say, right when Pence and Kamala started walking out, Cody immediately got busted open. Like, no, come back, see? And then he got choked by a dog collar. So, Matt, are you saying AEW won?
I think I am. I mean, yeah, you've got the dog collar match. You still have like the pomp and circumstance of Jericho's 30th that is hard to compare to. I kind of thought they picked a bad night to do this because obviously both shows were going to get killed by the VP debate. And this had that potential to be like when Mankind did his and The Rock did their This Is Your Life celebration for The Rock. Like I really felt, and they were doing it like a real version of it, like you actually got to see Jericho doing the "This Is Your Life," and it's something that I think we all wanted to see. I think people are going to watch it later, but if you are talking about strategizing this the right way, and I mentioned at the top of the show, these NXT, AEW, and WWE seem to be throwing out these different reasons that you can't miss each show. This was something where both of these shows had to say, you know what, this is the vice president debate, and we're just gonna fucking lose. There's nothing we can do to get people to tune in. So I mean, yeah, like to me, that's the long and short of it right there. So you just kind of wave the white flag and go, yeah, we're not winning this one, and then just go on your merry little way. So that I'm throwing out there for a completely different reason, but it was still something that I think in the long run they'll look back and say, man, we wasted this, but it was still fun to watch. I've got you're going to be taking AEW, so you've got that list of cameos to take care of. I've got reasons I hate that list, but yeah, well, let's go. Does this mean I go first then? Since I am saying AEW won, you gotta go first. All right. Yeah. All right, number 3. Well, all right. I know what my dishonorable mention is. So I'm going to go number 3 is, I'm going to say part of it is remembering that Drake Maverick is amazing at everything he does, but it is absolutely Drake Maverick and Killian Dane crushing Everrise. Mike, this was a reminder that Drake Maverick will do whatever you ask because he is an actor. He's a performer. He knows this business. This is a guy that absolutely should have his own wrestling coaching school, or teaching school, or his own wrestling school. I'll leave it at that. He should be working for the WWE after he's done. This guy gets it. He should be teaching all of these guys moving forward. Like this brass ring bullshit, climbing the ladder. You just need to be genuine. Like, I think that's where it starts. And there's some of the guys that will never climb up, the ladder or, get that brass ring because they're not genuine. And I think Drake Maverick is just honestly genuine. Some guys, it's just bad luck. But Drake Maverick is where he is because he's genuine with everything he does. I mean, the boyhood joy, the boy-like joy on his face for just winning a match with Killian Dane and being carried away out of the ring. It's hilarious. It's beautiful, to be completely honest. And it's something that I can't wait for the next match. Like, I can't wait for the next time that they're coming out. And I asked the question to myself, I guess, here in the notes, is this the new Breezango? Only from the aspect that this is so unique. It's so much fun. And again, it's a tag team that knows what pro wrestling really is all about. If you don't see what Killian Dane and Drake Maverick, what they're doing as everything pro wrestling is, the high skill, the storytelling in the ring, and just the different levels of emotion that can come out in one match, of the anger, the laughter that we get to emote as we're watching it. And I just, there's so many different things about this to love. Probably should be my number 1, but just for the sake of recognizing some other wrestlers that showed up on NXT, this will be my number 3.
No, I think it's a great inclusion. The entertainment value is really high whenever Drake is out there. And I mean, we're going to touch upon it with, because Jericho, spoiler alert, he's going to make the list. We're going to touch about it in a moment here about, who you want to give the rub to, who you want to sell for, who you want to make look good. And Killian Dane was Insanity, which was a group I honestly thought would do a little bit better. I thought Eric Young was, a pretty strong vocal leader who could literally do anything in the ring. And it, just kind of disbanded and, like a mouse fart in the wind. And it just seemed like Killian Dane after Sanity, his shtick was that he's the hairy member of the group, kind of the George Animal Steel. And he tried to have a little singles run in NXT. You know, I don't think people ever really kind of, attach themselves to him. And I think right now, I think Drake Maverick he's doing almost an MVP, the wrestler, kind of effort to get over somebody who's had some trouble getting over. So just hats off to Drake. But I bet he could get you and I over in a wrestling ring.
Absolutely.
Moment number 3 from AEW. I think it's got to be, Matt. I don't know. It'd be like if you threw a Baconator and a Whopper into an Arby's. There was so much meat, slapping meat. Brian Cage and Will Hobbs just crashing into each other, slamming into each other. This was like a WCW second hour extravaganza of two guys who didn't give a damn about submissions. All they wanted to do was make the other guy eat the pine, which is great to say once. JR milked that like 6 or 7 times over the course of the same match. Spine on the pine.
But he's forgetting that he said it the first time, so he just keeps looking down at his notes.
You already said it. But it ended. It's only number 3 on the list. As fun as it was, it did make me think of some nice nostalgic memories from WCW, because it just, if you watch it for a few minutes, you know exactly what I was talking about. There's even a power slam that I don't know if this is what they were alluding to, but it definitely made me think of the big wind-up power slam that Animal from Legion of Doom used to do, because it had that kind of ferocity to it. But great match. Stone Cold would say nice match. And as far as mixing up the styles a little bit, AEW does not have a lot of meat. They don't have a lot of meaty men slapping meat. So I definitely hope that Will Hobbs can get a little more exposure, get him some more fans, get him some more TV time, because I want to see more clashes like this. This was good stuff.
All right, number 2. I think I got to put this. Oh man!
I know you're trying to figure out how to get Dexter Lumis at number 1. I know it.
I know. No, I already fucked that up. I know.
He's just his own list. Yeah,
I can't put him in there. Everybody knows I love Dexter Lumis, and him doing what he did is great, but it wasn't enough, because I've got to put. I'm trying to decide right now who I'm going to make number 1 and who's number 2, and I guess I'm going to make Kushida and Ciampa number 2, because that match, and stick around for my dishonorable mention, that match was great, and I'm sad the way it ended. And I'm especially sad that there's a feud continuing. But Mike, you and I saw some sarcastic comments on Twitter about this match even existing, which I don't understand at all. I think we should give Kushida all the respect in the world. And obviously Ciampa's Ciampa. I mean, the Black Heart for a reason. You get that you get that moniker for, it's a scary one, and it's a one that you earn. But match-wise, this was fantastic, and I thought it was fresh. I don't understand if somebody was bored with seeing something they've never seen before, or if they just don't like that things were announced ahead of time. And all of this thrown together, it doesn't matter. This was a joy to watch. And if you are looking for something to check out, just make sure you pause it right before the ending. You won't know it's coming, I guess, but that's where I'll be starting my next statement with my dishonorable mention. But number 2, the match up until 2 minutes before the segment's over, is Kushida and Ciampa. That's my number 2.
Okay. My moment number 2. It's only because it happened this week. Cody and Brody Lee, Mr. Brody Lee, sorry, doing battle for the TNT Championship in a rematch. Big changes since the last time they fought. Cody has a new hair color. Cody has a new Aleister Black-esque squeaky door entrance to his theme song. A Ricochet. Pew, pew.
Never.
And now
wins.
Cody comes out, and there's like some lights that kind of go like this, and it's, what a 180 from the usual. But no, the match itself was
everybody
great.
Less is more every time.
I can't put this match at number one because AEW itself didn't make it number one. They actually made it number two to a commercial. We actually missed a spot where there's a pile driver off the apron through a table performed by Cody, who's outweighed by Mr. Brody Lee by probably 50 pounds. Because we had to watch a cancer treatment commercial in the picture-in-picture. So I don't know how this match didn't quite get the love. But it was violent. It was bloody. It's almost every week Cody busts himself open. He's really going to have an interesting looking forehead in a few years from all these little cuts like right here.
Like his father.
Yeah.
That was always disgusting. I always looked at it as if it were a piece of parchment paper that had been left in too hot of an oven for too long. It just started to wrinkle up, and you just want to pick at it. You see that burned up skin that you could probably just peel right off. That's what Dusty Rhodes' head always looked like to me.
Yeah, it was kind of gross. They made good use of the gimmick. It didn't feel like it didn't just feel like a side attraction. They actually tried to bring out some of the legends who've been in the old dog collar matches. They actually had the announcer do some extracurricular. And then when the match was over, Cody cut a promo. They had all the cronies for Brody Lee come out and essentially carry their god back into the behind the curtain. Cody's family and friends all came out, and then Matt, one of my favorite things about AEW is that I'm usually pretty happy with what I'm watching the night of, but then they always get me excited for what's next week. If we didn't get a big lengthy promo exchange because of the man involved, but dueling thumbs up from freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy and Cody. So yeah, just pumped for another anniversary show for AEW next week.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my moment number two. Matt, that brings us to arguably my favorite part of the show, the dishonorable mentions, and then the number one moments. Matt, dishonorable mention for NXT.
Well, one of my favorite parts of every show is saying hey to Amy. So, hey, Amy, I'm glad you're here.
Amy!
Number two, I really hope that AEW does, after they do their anniversary show, their first show, they do an anniversary show of their second AEW Dynamite and continue, don't miss the anniversary of episode 2 of AEW Dynamite on TNT. All right. So my dishonorable mention, Mike, I already teased, so let's just go through it. Kushida and Ciampa should not have ended the way it ended. Kushida should have... Velveteen Dream should have been written off of NXT for a very long time with the end of the NXT TakeOver match. And at that point, Kushida should have been made the face of the company. They could have done anything to the guy that takes out Velveteen Dream, and now they've just extended that feud. It is quite the fart right in my eye, and I'm not happy about it. So with that, that's easily my dishonorable mention, and I can't believe that they ruined what was such a great match between Ciampa and Kushida. I'm a huge fan of Kushida. I'm a huge fan of Back to the Future, so I was sold on him from the get-go. And the fact that I still, the one movie where we allow an elder gentleman to prey on a young child. It's the one time we've never called into question what this relationship is all about. The WWE never called into question what Velveteen Dream was doing with youngsters online, and he continues to stay on WWE programming without it being mentioned with any sort of realistic nature, and just sort of blown off by the likes of their leadership team. So with that being said, it's my dishonorable mention. Probably shouldn't even mention it. But number one easily is the return of Ember Moon, tagging with Rhea Ripley and taking down Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. Number one for so many different reasons, but obviously you go in and you want to see how Ember Moon's doing. So I think to the length that they let her, throw herself around, I think we're ready to see Ember Moon be Ember Moon. And that is the most exciting part about this. And she started the show letting us all know she's ready to come back and be Ember Moon to the nth degree. So it's fun to hear her say it, but I don't think we've ever looked at Ember Moon's promos and said that is can't miss TV. Her matches, though, like this is the level that Ember Moon is at. She's at that AJ Styles level where we haven't seen the promos that knock our socks off. And it's not like a joke with AJ. Like AJ's so bad at promos, it's disgusting. But both of them are so talented in the ring, it doesn't matter. So I can't wait for this to continue, and I love the idea that she's already getting mixed up with Dakota Kai and Rhea Ripley. I'm a little surprised that Ripley isn't being mixed into the WWE Draft because I thought that was going to be her goodbye. But if some battles start between Ember Moon and Rhea Ripley, I'm not going to hate that either. So everything that came out from that main event, maybe it wasn't the greatest tag match we've ever seen, but it was all thumbs ups. Thumbs up from my side of the screen. Just getting to see Ember Moon out there, and goddamn, she looked good. I forgot the major crush I have on Ember Moon when I see her come into the ring. So that was brought my heart.
Shout out to the costume designer who found a second use for all those pop tabs for Ember.
Hey, that's actually recycling. We never know what's going on in those recycling plants, so
it's good for the planet.
Exactly.
No, I loved Ember Moon. Still do. I'm so glad she's back. Looks excellent. Doesn't look like she's missed a step. I just, two people really got helped build people like Asuka and Shayna Baszler over. One of them's Kairi Sane, the other one is Ember Moon. I don't know if Shayna would be at the apex that she was in NXT if it wasn't for Ember Moon really selling those busted elbow spots where Shayna does the big stomp from above.
Right.
Those are some of the most like edge of your seat matches where they had that kind of like real UFC feel to them. But still had the flair for the dramatic thanks to Ember's facial expressions and her ability to sell the match. I'm so glad she's back. It's literally like getting a star point guard on your basketball team, because not only is she excellent, but she makes everybody around her better. I just can't say enough nice things about Ember because I'm just a huge fan of hers. That just takes us to AEW. Matt, the dishonorable mention.
You got this.
It's a little nitpicky because it kind of feeds into the main event, but Jericho's buddies. I mean, what a bunch of has-beens. You got Shaq, who is every week is one-upped by Charles Barkley. You got Kiss. Nobody listens to them anymore. Gene Simmons made some weird comment about being on your hands and knees. I don't know. Did he and Chris get it on? I don't know what they were implying with that. Bully Ray came on for a not even a cup of coffee, for a sip of beer. It didn't even say the words Chris or Jericho or congratulations. And then Dennis Miller, shut up, man. Nobody's like Dennis Miller since 1994. Back when the NHL video game was first starting. It was that long ago. Pavel Bure was still a piece to be had. That's how long ago his relevance was. But
the last time that Nat King Cole was blowing air out of them pipes, eh? Genghis Khan is rolling in his grave.
Please stop. So I don't understand. I don't understand why those are the only people Jericho's friends with. Like, I've listened to his podcast. His guests aren't that rough. Come on, there's got to be somebody out there who likes this guy. He's on like The Talking Dead for a few episodes. I guess we don't really talk to Chris Hardwick anymore. There had to be somebody out there. It was rough. But moment number one, man, it's the celebration of Jericho. I'm sorry. Even though
with all that being said,
even though he doesn't quite have the Hollywood cachet of amigos to call on for big moments. It's hard to do. But he did do two much more important things, which I think are worth noting. As a professional wrestler, Matt, you always go out on your back. Okay, he did win. But what I mean is that he helped put over his buddies, right? He helped put over Luther and Serpentico. These are guys who go way back with Chris. And I've seen people online kind of, how is this the 30th anniversary and this is who Jericho's fighting? It's akin to The Undertaker saying, yeah, I'll take a loss versus Brock Lesnar. We're buddies. It's that kind of camaraderie that, Jericho on this night decided to put that guy over. I'm going to have my 30th anniversary special. I don't want it to not include you. You have to be here. You came with me to AEW. I want you to main event the 30th anniversary with me. So I thought that was a cool rub, a cool nod. And then as far as Chris getting other people over, and sometimes it can be argued that he's kind of stealing the thunder. A little bit like what he did with Kevin Owens when he had a lot of momentum and, Chris kind of came in and was trying to get all the funny lines while Owens was, really, selling T-shirts, getting great TV spots, and they were the best friends. Jericho and MJF. That's another, in the same night, he helped get over his buddy Luther, and then he also helped get over MJF. Because this smells like these guys are probably not going to be a tag team for very long if they do end up, being on the same side temporarily. But it's about getting over the next Jericho. And if anybody in the world of pro wrestling is on that short list, the list, if you will, the short list of, who's going to be the next Jericho, and he finally hangs it up, I think MJF's got the credentials, and I think he's got the ability to do it. And I don't think if you look at his body of work at such a young age, there should be a lot of people who disagree with that. If anybody is going to come up with the list of 1,005 holds, it's probably going to be MJF.
Ooh. That's a good blog article. That's a good follow-up. You should write that one and then post it on bodpodcast.com and brothersdiscussion.com. I think there's, there's a reason for everything in pro wrestling. There's a reason why I said that Dabo should be the first pick in the WWE draft. Like, that's how pro wrestling should work. And you just said it. Like, who you should go out on your back. But
spine on the pine.
Right. There's a reason you brought up spine on the pine. No, there's a reason that MJF is featured so heavily at the end of that show, and it is because I think Jericho sees probably, I don't know if it's necessarily a lot of himself or if he just sees so much in MJF that he knows that if there's somebody that can carry the baton, it's probably not anybody that's in Inner Circle. It's definitely more of an MJF. It's some guy that never needed Inner Circle. It's the guy that could carry himself all on his own from the beginning. And Amy's thrown out there. Thanks, Amy. MJF. We did have one of the things we missed because it got commented on my share in the group. So we did miss Andre threw out there a comment. So Andre, we can't throw it out there. So I just thought I'd read it straight from Facebook. So forgive me, everybody. I probably look dumb. I thought NXT was better show than AEW. I'm not an AEW hater or anything, but they got to do better in some areas of their programming. Improve the women's division. Do something better with Miro than have him be Kip Sabian's best man. The guy's been with the company for almost 2 months, and he's been in one match, and they got him stuck in a weak-ass storyline with a lower mid-card guy. Everyone thought Miro was going to do great things in AEW and booked better than he was in WWE. He's basically done diddly dick. Goddamn, Andre.
Did you say diddly dick?
Diddly dick. This is the best thing I've ever read. The grass ain't so green on the other side, I guess. Holy fuck. Andre coming in hard. I gotta say, like like
That's like a William Carlos Williams poem. I really like that.
You
Diddly
really
dick.
couldn't go through like what Andre said there and pick it apart outside of the idea that it's early. It's something where AEW already had things in place. So I think, we have to be patient. I think it's better that they don't go that Impact route and just whoever gets signed from WWE immediately becomes their champion, and then they just completely, undersell the rest of the card.
Yeah, I mean we've already seen, like, Miro is a big man. And we've seen how quickly they tried to thrust, like, Murder Hawk, Brody Lee, Brian Cage. All right, we're going to give you title matches in your first pay-per-view. And then they're immediately quick feud for, 30 days and then off the map. And now they're kind of doing mid-card stuff. So with Miro, I kind of prefer what they're doing, if only because, let's kind of get that slow burn where people are like, yeah, when's Miro going to get a chance? Yeah, we want Miro, more Miro. And then you can kind of crank it up and eventually, get him to that point where he's, challenging Moxley, toppling and defeating Cody. So yeah, I'm okay playing the long game with Miro because he already comes in with so much love and adoration. He doesn't need anything. He's going to get over, I love those legendary stories of when you audition for WWE and you got to try and sell a mop handle.
Right.
Miro could easily do that in his sleep. So I think he's one of those special talents that let's just, keep this guy glass case. Let's, in case of emergency, break glass. And for right now, let's just kind of slowly build him up. So I'm actually okay with it. Although, if it wasn't for the way they're building him, we wouldn't have heard the wonderful phrase "diddly dick."
Right. So I'm so happy that I did see Andre's comment, because now our show, I hope you all go check out Andre. He's on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. I'm sorry, Andre, you gotta send me all those handles so I can let everybody know. But if you find Andre in our live discussion group, follow him everywhere. Because it's all fantastic content. It's better than diddly dick.
That's the worst thing he did. That's it. Diddly dick.
All right, everybody. It's time for us to wrap up. It looks like I've got a date in the war zone. We got to start live streaming, because I found out that that's like a new thing. It has nothing to do with your brand of podcast. You can just start. You should just start live streaming on Twitch like anything, but just carry your brand with you. So we should probably start live streaming our war zones and our Dead by Daylights. But everybody, find us at bodpodcast.com and brothersofdiscussion.com. Like I mentioned, those two other blogs. I hope you guys check them out. I'm trying to be more than clickbait. I'm trying to be more than just, hey, here's things that other people wrote. Let me share them. Here's things that other people said. Let me share them. I think we all follow the same people on Twitter, so we've seen the original posts. But what I'm trying to do is kind of detail in one. Again, it's removing brand loyalty from watching your favorite wrestling programs. I think it'll make a more healthier viewing experience. And number two, how the 1004 Holds segment for Mr. Chris Jericho actually helped create who Chris Jericho is, and actually like encapsulates his entire career. Like, what is Chris Jericho? It can be found in that segment. So go ahead, pick that apart, throw your thoughts in the comments too. But find us at BOD Podcast on Twitter, at brothers_of_discussion on Instagram to find all the fun memes that we're putting out there. Hey, it's just the two of us. So if you're sitting there looking at those memes and going, hey, there's only two like every episode of Raw, go over to Twitter and read all the other stuff we're putting in. And of course, join our Facebook group. Mike, we learned tonight from 3 entrepreneurs that community is very important to any podcast. So why don't you join our community and go to live wrestling discussion brought to you by bodpodcast.com. There's 600 people that organically found themselves in this spot. We are not making any money. We're not even selling this group. People are coming because they know there's great wrestling discussion. Head on over there and continue the discussion. Mike, it is an absolute pleasure. I don't say it enough. I love you to death. Today was a big night for the Brothers of Discussion, I think. So thank you so much. I know you're still moving in, so thanks for making the time. I know it's tough. But yeah. Mike, I will see you Sunday morning to talk NHL draft at BOD Hockey on Twitter, and a same YouTube page, which is just Brothers of Discussion.
Sunday morning, we're going to be touching each other's diddly dicks. I can't wait.
All right. That's the perfect way to send up. Bye, everybody.